Okay, so let's jump in. So you guys know, so myatero.com, you got your export button, and then you've got 3 choices. I want to just explain what each one is and when to choose what, because it's just helpful to know why and when. Export type, you got open shell and solid model with low profile base. Open shell is going to give you a model without a base. It's going to be see-through. And so anytime you're doing a guide or a splint or you're building something on the teeth into another software, I like open shell because it allows you to see through the underside of the model. And if you ever want to look through and see contact points or something heavy underneath, it's a little nicer not to have a big base on the model. So I go open shell if you're going into another software. If you're going directly to the printer, straight from iTero, for retainers, models, printing, put a base on it because then it's just going to drop right on flat onto the printer without an extra step. So if you're going straight to the printer, put a base on it.
So, sorry if I keep interrupting.
You're fine, please.
I sent these 2 wax ups I did with Frank, both as open shell. He did design scan only, sent it back to me.
Yeah.
I tried to print it. It wouldn't print worth the crap.
Yeah.
This was like this thing with holes all through it.
Yeah.
And then I realized, I had to send him solid model open, so we had to redo the whole thing.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yes, I'm just in this learning curve with Frank doing these, but so why I should have sent him obviously the solid model, and then he did the wax up on that.
Yeah, and honestly, it shouldn't matter because once you get that, when you drop that into Rayware, if you drop an open shell model into Rayware, the new Rayware model sees that and goes, this is a dental model that's not closed. And if you click it, you should see an exclamation say, hey, we need to close this model. And a one-click should go and put a base. So Rayware.
Right when I put it in the Rayware to print it,
yes,
something will come up.
It'll say that there's an error and it'll ask you if you want to fix it.
I think I did fix, but it didn't. Okay.
It didn't work.
Maybe I screwed up. All right.
And occasionally,
Rayware will recognize.
Rayware will
help me fill it to print it or something.
There's complex models sometimes where it'll come as like your original STL with individual teeth layered over it, and it looks like one STL, but the computer thinks it's 20, and Rayware is going to get confused. And so there may be, and that's where Mesh Mixer, some of these other.
You could fill that in with Mesh Mixer, right?
Mesh Mixer, yeah. So.
Fill it in.
Yeah, so once you learn Mesh Mixer, drop it in, you do a couple little things, and you save having to go back to Frank, and that's just where you have to start learning some of the editing functions of STLs.
So in which cases do you choose solid model?
Solid model is if you're going straight to the printer, you've scanned somebody for a retainer, and you want to just print right away. And whitening trays, yeah, anything that's going straight into the printer, I just do solid model. But it could be open shell, and then Rayware, the one-click fix, same thing.
Because the open shell's too thin, right? Because I got a digital wax up back yesterday, and I was playing with it in Rayware, and I could lay it teeth up and just cut it and laid it down, and it would print.
Yes.
Right. It's still open like a denture on the inside, but it still had enough surface area around the edges where it's going to print.
So it was a hollow model, not an open shell, but a hollow model.
It's just like a wax
That's what
up
came
a
back from
denture.
Frank for my digital wax up was a hollow model.
Hollow model,
I tried
yeah.
to print it, and it didn't work.
So an open shell has no dimension. It's just like think of a one layer of cells, like
That's it.
one layer, right? But an open shell has thickness. It's just hollow in the middle, and so the benefit of that is less resin, right? Because you're not wasting much of resin internally inside the model.
It was just a denture. Well, it was like a denture wax up.
It was like a denture wax
It was
set.
a denture wax up.
Yeah.
So it had thickness to it.
Yeah.
I just printed it teeth up.
Teeth
I
up.
had to cut it short so that had enough surface area on the edges so they could just print it. Because I didn't care about the vestibule.
Did you notice a bunch of uncured resin inside the hollow area when you pulled it off the base?
I'm printed Monday morning.
Okay. So when you're printing hollow models, if you print them flat and not horizontal, you're supposed to have, ideally you have drain holes because a hollow model is going to capture a bunch of uncured resin, like, you know what I mean, inside of it. If you're building up something that's hollow, it's going to trap in resin.
Last time said that you have to do it on an angle.
Yeah, like an angle, anything.
They
Just
have all these supports up there that you got to cut out and everything. Right?
well, you can just print it vertically without supports on the heels, with the hollow model facing sideways, or the hollow aspect. So there's no internal. I don't know.
I'll print it that way. That's good.